Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3770 78. Yeah, 78. All right. Today's date is December 25. Let me check. December 25, 2025. It's been almost like a morning at 9:02 a.m. O2 means 02 a.m. It's exactly almost like a 9 a.m. Alright, I am kind of looking the recording. Little bit cold here. Okay. I am kind of like looking a little bit good on the frame. I don't know why, but it kind of like suddenly all the highlighted. I'm kind of like wearing some sort of shadows and things like that. So probably it would be really good. By the way, the sound is really good. By the way, my daddy is like I have to be dye my daddy. By the way, okay. Let me clarify. I do dye my beard and I do dye my hair too. Okay, yeah. I usually dye my beard kind of like a something twice in a month. Okay, twice in a month. Like it read at least like a 2 weeks. Okay, after a 2 weeks, it kind of like a shows this kind of like a white thing. Okay, yeah. So I kind of like a dye, and I already have a kind of like a separate dyeing thing for dyeing my beard. Okay, I am not using the dyeing thing, same thing that I'm using for this because it's not really good. So I'm using for this kind of like a different dye solution I use for there, and it has different dye for this. I kind of like do a lot of research that which kind of like a really good for me. Like before I was kind of like using the same like the solution that I use for dye. I usually use this thing for this beard too, which not really good. Okay, yeah, it kind of like me create infection, but it didn't really happen with me. Yeah, but most of the like I went to the kind of a Google search and kind of like a do the all the Gemini and deep research, which kind of like a dyeing kind of like a really good, and that's why I realized that yeah. Did I mention? Okay, okay for hair I usually use Garnier shampoo dye. Like basically there is a kind of like a shampoo. You have to put the shampoo and kind of like a do the dye. It's kind of like a bit really hassle free. You don't have to go to the barber and kind of like do the hair. It's you have to do it by yourself. It kind of like a really good. And regarding about the beard, I'm actually using this Royal something that royal something that okay yeah, which kind of like assembly. It's very easy to dye beard as compared to hair because hair is just yeah. But I'm kind of like utilizing shampoo or dye shampoo, which kind of like a for the hair head hair, and for the beard I'm kind of like using this royal thing, which has a kind of like assembly very easy to do this thing. And I'm gonna do this thing after this artifact. All right. Okay, yeah. Should we ask question? All right, yeah. I don't know why I'm just kind of like looking good, so that's how I'm kind of like simply just telling this thing. Okay, yeah. What is? Okay, so question is wait. Okay, so what if Dream predicted the lottery number? Oh, that is a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like a force you to think about that reality. When I try to think about that reality, or when I try to create that reality, I'm kind of like utilizing my knowledge and information experience that I've been through. And when I utilize those knowledge and information, it kind of like a felt good. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It's a raw, it's unfiltered, it's just my opinion. So do not believe in any kind of like information that I'm saying, or do not seek for any kind of like information that I'm saying. It's just my opinion, and opinion are subjective. Now regarding about the question says that what if Dream predicted your lottery ticket? Like, is it? Yeah, lottery numbers. Okay, yeah. Now let me clarify what is actually lottery number, what is actually this thing, if you're not really aware of that. Okay, yeah. So lottery is a kind of like a some particular system where people actually buy a ticket. Okay, yeah. What is actually the game of the lottery is that millions of people actually buy the ticket. Okay, but they don't really get the lucky number. Okay, yeah. And if you buy the ticket and you get the lucky number, then you will kind of like a win the cash prize or whatever the prize, like a kind of like a some $1 million or things or that and that. Okay, yeah. But it is kind of like a depends upon kind of like a simply how many numbers. Like let's just say that if there is a price range for like a $1 million, so they might sell at least like a 10 million tickets. Okay, yeah. And in that 10 million tickets, only one ticket has a $1 million. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a lottery system, and actually each ticket comes with a prize. Okay, yeah. So if you went to the lottery guy and kind of like say I wanted to buy the lottery ticket, and they will kind of like cost you maybe kind of like a couple of dollar, like a $1 or something like that, or maybe less than that, I'm not really sure, less than that. Okay, yeah. And because of we actually kind of like bought the ticket, and even if I'm not really lucky, still the lottery company, they are kind of like earning money from the ticket that I buy and things like that. Now this is a kind of like some game is completely depends upon luck. It does like a basically it's yeah, it's completely depend upon luck. Like you will kind of like somebody draw such a ticket which kind of like a somebody 1 in 10 million tickets, which is like probably 1 crore. Yeah, 1 crore ticket, which is like a so much. Yeah, like you have to be kind of like a very very lucky to kind of like a get the tickets and things like that. Okay, now another thing. Okay, yeah, the ticket number are kind of like a sometimes it kind of like a show on the it show on the kind of like a ticket, or sometime ticket number we have to be scratch and things like that. Okay, yeah. So basically what exactly is this happened that when we buy a lottery ticket, we will not kind of like a see the number. No, when we buy, then we are allowed to scratch and we see the number and things like that. Like this is kind of like a something very much essential for the lottery ticket, so that people kind of like a somebody. But sometimes people actually buy kind of like a somebody number and things like that. Like some lottery ticket are kind of like comes with a scratch. Some people are kind of like comes with just a number and things like that. It's kind of like a somebody completely depend on them and whatever it is. Okay, so this is just a lottery ticket and things like that. Okay, now if you are lucky and if you win the lottery ticket, yeah, obviously you will get the money, but not the entire money. Like basically if you say like a 1 million prize dollar, so 1 million dollar is a prize money, then you will not get exactly 1 million. Like after the taxes and after everything, you will kind of like a get like a basically 900 something something. Okay, yeah, but probably yeah 900 or something, 800 something. Okay, yeah. But yeah, you have to be kind of like a very lucky. It's not happened very easily. So this is what kind of like a lottery system is actually happened in all around the world. Okay, yeah. And by the way, the people who actually bought the ticket, they are the people who are like a basically a kind of like a somebody not believing themselves. Okay, yeah, because it's a kind of like a somebody, it represents the flaws of our society. Okay, yeah. Like that key usually is this thing that key people who actually bought the lottery ticket, that means the people who actually believe in luck, believe in that key they cannot able they are not a kind of like a people who could say who could able to be earn $1 million amount of money in their entire period of lifetime. Now why does people think that? Because this is what kind of like a somebody we condition, and this is what kind of like a somebody that key we think that key we are not really good. We are not a kind of like a particular person that we should supposed to be on so much amount of money and things and that, because people think that is kind of like something very hard, but that is not. That is definitely not. It's not. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Being rich, yeah, also it's really hard. It's not really that. It's not really easy, but it's not a kind of like a something that I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. It's a very hard to explain. But what I realized throughout my entire period of lifetime, people are not believe in themselves. People usually believe in kind of like an external factor, or people actually believe in the other people. They don't really believe in themselves. And when the people are not believe in themselves, then other people are kind of like a take the advantage of them. And that is like who are those people who take the advantage? Like those lottery ticket company owner. Okay, yeah, like they are kind of like somebody giving you such a prize money, that 1 million kind of like a prize money, then you are kind of like a say, oh, I might be a kind of like a somebody if I would kind of like get the $1 million prize money, so I would gonna buy the ticket and things and that. So that like basically if you are not believing yourself, the other people will gonna take advantage of you, and that's a kind of like a simply the world that we are living. Okay, yeah. And just one example, there are so many examples and things and that. Whatever, it's just kind of like a very different topic, and we shouldn't supposed to talk about that particular. It's just yeah, whatever. Let's just talk about the kind of like a what if we could kind of like a somebody dream. Like what if kind of like somebody we dream the kind of like a somebody lottery ticket number that would kind of like lead us to win the lottery prizes. Now imagine, okay, yeah, that key if I kind of like went to sleep and suddenly I kind of like dream about that I bought a kind of like a lottery ticket which has a kind of like a number of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, yeah, and I remember that number. Then I kind of like went there and bought the ticket, exactly same ticket, like a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And then I kind of like a somebody, then I kind of like a scratch that number, and that number is exactly match. Okay, yeah, so I win the lottery ticket. Okay, yeah, so I would be kind of like a became millionaire, right? Just within a kind of like a, just couple of minutes and things like that. Now, if such thing will gonna happen, and it just not happened with me, it just happened with everyone. Yeah, it just happened with everyone. Like people actually kind of like dreaming about things that they kind of like win some sort of lottery ticket with the number they remember, and they kind of like something they just think that they just kind of like buy the lottery ticket and things like that. Now this is the kind of like the very biggest problem actually happened. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah, the how does lottery ticket actually kind of like a win, like a how does lottery company would kind of like a simply letting only one person should supposed to win the $1 million? Why is that? Because it's a really essential thing. You have to be very very lucky to kind of like a win that particular lottery ticket. Okay, yeah. Now what I'm trying to tell you is this thing now ki their entire model is actually kind of like a based on how many ticket actually sell, and regarding about how many kind of like a something that people actually win, and only the one person supposed to be win. Okay, yeah. So basically let's just do example. Okay, let's just do example. Okay, yeah, I'm not really sure about the number, but this is somewhat something most of the kind of like assembly lottery company kind of like a do the something. Okay, yeah, I'm not really sure about the number, I'm trying to tell you random number, but somewhat exactly like that. Okay, yeah, let's just say I want to kind of like a something, let's just say $1 million ticket. Okay, 1 million, like basically people who kind of like a win the ticket, they should supposed to be like the one person should supposed to be get $1 million. Now if okay, if uh, i I have to give the one person $1 million. Okay, so how many tickets should I supposed to be sell? Okay, yeah, and if the one like if I'm kind of like a selling one ticket in $1, so I might sell 1 million ticket. Okay, yeah, like after I sell 1 million ticket, then I actually get $1 million because each ticket cost $1. So probably after kind of like it gets like $1 million to me indirectly because people actually bought, and in this $1 million people, one person actually kind of like a bought the ticket, became lucky, and actually kind of like a win the prize. Okay, yeah, so whatever the money that I earn, like $1 million from the ticket prices, I have to give that money to the person who actually win that $1 million. And how much money that I earn? Nothing at all. Okay, yeah, so it is really essential for me to kind of like a sell more than kind of like a something more than more tickets than the actual price. Like if I am kind of like a selling lottery ticket in $1, so I have to be sell at least like a possibly 2 million ticket. Okay, yeah, so if I sell 2 million ticket, that means each ticket cost $1. So 2 million tickets, that means $2 million. So that's why I'm actually earning 2 millions of dollar, and when the person who actually kind of like a win, that particular person, I have to give $1 million. So $1 million I actually kind of like a gain in profit. $1 million. Okay, yeah, so which is kind of like a really good nah, like this kind of like a really great for me from every possible point of perspective. Okay, because I am also earning money, and the person who kind of like a being lucky, I also give the money to. Okay, and this is what kind of like a something that system is actually happen and things like that. Now there is a question actually arise that key, if I am kind of like a something selling 2 million tickets, how much time do I really require to kind of like a sell 2 million tickets? Probably take year. Yeah, it's not actually happened just like a couple of things. Okay, it's actually happen a kind of like it takes time. Okay, but right now in today's world we have kind of like something like digital ticket. Okay, digital lottery tickets and things like that, those can sell very fast, but still it takes time. It takes time, and there is a lot of kind of like some rules and regulation, taxes violation and things and that, because there are a lot of things actually happen. Each country has a different laws regarding about how they should supposed to provide the tax in these lottery tickets and things and that. Okay, yeah. Now this is kind of like some entire lottery system is actually happen. Now if everyone is actually earning money, okay, like everyone kind of like a dream about that ki 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 is the number then everyone are kind of like chasing that particular number. Okay, everyone are kind of like chasing that particular number, and this kind of like a create a chaos. It's a kind of like a things that na ki imagine you have a 2 million tickets. Okay, yeah, but people actually kind of like somebody want only 1 2 3 5 4 7 8 9 number ticket. That's it, only that exactly same ticket. Okay, yeah, because everyone kind of like a dream, and it kind of like a creates and chaos and things like that. People might not gonna buy a kind of like a different ticket, and which kind of like a somebody creates a problem because of that. If the people are not really buy another tickets, then how does kind of like a lottery company will supposed to be earn money? And if they are not earning money, then how they should supposed to be kind of like a provide the money for the people who actually kind of like earn exactly that ticket, who actually bought that particular ticket, and how they're supposed to be give that money to that particular person? It's not possible. Okay, yeah. So that's what kind of like some things and create chaos and things like that. One thing. Okay, yeah. Now what we're gonna do is that their entire business will kind of like shut down. Okay, yeah. So what they will gonna do? Okay, yeah. Instead of they were kind of like somebody that ki instead of they should supposed to be kind of like somebody sell those kind of like somebody tickets, or kind of like somebody the prize money of the ticket was kind of like a $1 million. They might kind of like say this thing that ki possibly is this thing that ki like in this in our lottery contest, there is no only one winner. There is might be a kind of like 1,000 people would be a winner too. Okay, yeah. So for the 1,000 people, then $1 million should supposed to distribute in the 1,000 ticket. Okay, yeah. So if this actually happened, then probably each kind of like a ticket costly maybe, let's just say like a let me for $1 million for the $1,000. Okay, $1,000 or something. I don't know, $1,000 or $1 or $100. I'm not really sure. Okay, $1,000 things like that. So everyone are kind of like chasing for this kind of like $1,000 prize money and things, and that everyone kind of like dreaming about that number and things, and will they supposed to be earn money and stuff like that. It not only create the chaos, but it kind of like creates a kind of like a very wrong thing regarding about the society. In the society, we actually believe that because of our hard work, because of kind of like we put the hard work and things, and that we could supposed to be achieve success as well as money as well as everything. Okay, yeah. But if the society has a kind of like this mindset that with the lottery ticket we should supposed to be earn $1,000, like not just $1 million, but let's just say $1,000, then people might actually consider that it's a kind of like easy money. Okay, we just have to sleep and dream and kind of like remember the number and kind of like buy the exact number of the lottery ticket, and then I will kind of like win the $1,000. Easy, right? But it's not good thing. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Growth does not happen without effort. Like, let me give you the perspective. Okay, yeah. Let's just say this is the growth and this is the effort. Okay, like it's a kind of like a level. Okay, yeah. So if the growth should supposed to be increased, then effort should supposed to be higher. Like basically the normal proportion of this thing is that the growth is there, effort is there. Means like that when you do effort in that level, then you achieve this growth. Okay, yeah. So if you wanted to kind of like somebody increase the growth, then you have to increase the effort. Okay, yeah. Increase little bit growth, increase the even more effort. So this is kind of like some graph is actually happened. People put lot of effort to achieve this success. Okay, yeah. So let me tell you one thing. Effort really required more to achieve growth, which is kind of like a lesser than effort. But it is a natural laws and things like that. You have to put lot of effort to get kind of like this much growth, which is kind of like a less than that. Okay, yeah. Now in this reality, in this particular reality, people actually believe in kind of like a somebody such a system that probably just not really required a kind of like a put the effort. They just kind of like a believe that we just have to dream and things like that, and we just shouldn't supposed to do any kind of like a work. So when this thing actually happened, then probably what exactly is this thing? People are not actually putting the growth. No, people are not actually putting the effort. So when they are not putting the effort, then effort is right here. So where is should supposed to be growth? Growth might be here. Okay, growth might be here. This is what kind of like some fundamental laws of kind of like a growth and effort and things like that. Okay, yeah. If you are not had enough effort, then probably let's just say we are kind of like effort like this way, then growth would be kind of like a beyond the frame and things like that. It was not existence and things like that. And this is what kind of like some laws and things and that and that. And I think this is kind of like a somewhat something true, because let me tell you one thing, na. Growth means what? Like a money? No, definitely not. Usually people actually consider as a growth means money, but that is completely wrong. money is a kind of like a commodity that we actually use for kind of like a make our life little bit better. Yeah, it kind of like a solve 90% of your problem, but it does not tell a growth kind of like comes from very like it's a money, but it's a kind of like a part of all those things. Like a let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah, when you put the effort, you not only earn, like you are kind of like getting this growth. Okay, yeah, but in this growth you are not only getting the money, you are actually getting the knowledgeable, you are kind of like innovating stuff, you are kind of like creating a purpose to people who actually live the life and things like that. Okay, yeah, and this is what really good. Like basically when this thing actually happened now, it kind of like somebody creates a society, a kind of like somebody such a way that you have to put the effort to get this growth, and which is very very essential not only for human being but as well as kind of like somebody for growth of everyone. Like I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Look at around yourself. Like have you ever seen a kind of like building cars and things and that why is this thing actually happened? Is it actually happening is because of kind of like somebody just a money? No, we actually put effort and things and that's why we are kind of like somebody have this kind of like a car building which is kind of like a really good and really great, and this will be upgraded in the future too. That's because of that people are actually putting effort every single day, and that is what kind of like a somewhat something really essential for us to be a continue. We put the effort to get the growth and things like that. It's a kind of like a cycle that it has to be things. This lottery system will stop this cycle, and this kind of like a create chaos and not really good thing. Sometimes I just kind of like feel like spiritual leader to kind of like telling all this stuff. I don't know why, but I just think like that. Whatever. I didn't really talk about exactly answer. Okay, the answer would be if that particular kind of like a imagination was a reality, then what would be that particular like what will gonna happen? People are kind of like a believe in sleeping much more. Why? Because when they sleep, they get the dream, and when they get the dream, then probably they just have to remember the number and kind of like buy the thing. So people are not kind of like putting effort to work. People are actually putting effort to sleep. One thing that is like sleep is essential. It's not really that sleep is not really essential, but when you are kind of like a sleeping for the rest, that is a one thing. When you are sleeping for a dream, then that is a wrong thing. Okay, yeah, because yeah, rest is really essential. It's a very important thing, but still is this thing that key you should supposed to be sleep for the rest, not for the kind of like a somebody somewhat emergency or kind of like a things and that. It's not really good thing. It kind of like it makes you lazy. One thing. Another thing is that key you have to be kind of like a try to remember the dreams, and that is not good thing. Okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing. When like I don't know, like you might experience this thing, but I also experience this thing. We don't remember the dream, and that is good thing. That is good thing. Because of that ki basically dreams are kind of like a somebody the flashback of our memories or things or that or stuff like that. Okay, yeah, which somewhat something kind of like a somebody it true, it's not like I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Like basically this thing now, like a couple of years ago I was kind of like thinking about that ki what if I could kind of like record my dreams. So what I do is that ki after I kind of like seen any kind of like dreams, I just kind of like remember and kind of like record this, like I seen this and seen that and seen that and seen that, and realize that it doesn't make any sense at all, nothing at all. Dreams are meant to be not to remember, and that is good thing. That is kind of like a stuff. It's not. And basically when you try to remember the dream, then how do you supposed to sleep, and how do you supposed to get the dream? It's not good thing, right? It's not. Yeah, like basically this thing, while we are dreaming we are aware of that we are sleeping. Okay, but when we are trying to wake up and kind of like remember, it's not that. Like I don't know how do I supposed to explain. It's a kind of like somebody our brain is kind of like a shutdown for that particular moment. Okay, yeah, and suddenly you see the dreams and things, and you just kind of like let your brain to wake up and kind of like do the work and things. It's I don't know. Then you kind of like interrupt the sleep cycle, which kind of like creates a chaos. It's kind of like it's not really good thing to kind of like interrupt the sleep. And dreams are kind of like something happen when you are in REM sleep. REM sleep is a kind of like something is this thing when you have an intense sleep, and only you actually like only people actually kind of like get dreams when they are in REM sleep cycle. So yeah, but still it's kind of like just a thought process regarding about what I think about that particular thing. All right, this is I should supposed to be end here. Thank you.